In the world of speedrunning, seconds or sometimes even milliseconds are cut off by improving and innovating new techniques to gain an edge against your competitors and even achieve a speedrunning record. But there is a game out there where techniques are unpolished and a lot of luck is needed to achieve a record time. This is Growtopia Speedrunning. Speedrunning is the idea of completing a game quick. For example, the original Super Mario Bros. It's arguably my favourite speedrunning game out there. It continues to redefine the human limit and what's even possible. But not all games have an ending, so not all speedruns focus on finishing the game. I know Mario Odyssey has an ending, but it definitely has one of the most interesting speedruns without finishing the game. It's known as Nibble%. How quick can you make Mario shirtless? Oh yeah, by the way, all these speedruns are submitted on our website. It's called speedrun.com. All these runs are stored here, as long as it's verified. Done so by the mods in their respective communities to make sure that all attempts are legal and aren't using any cheats such as video editing or hacks. With 37,907 games recorded within the database, Growtopia are among them. So, with 5 main speedrunning categories and 8 secondary speedrunning categories, the speedrun community for Growtopia has seen quite a bit of an activity throughout the 10 years it's been up for, although for the first 4 to 5 years there has been no submissions, just radio static. With the first submission being submitted in early November of 2017, 375 runs from 157 different players have been submitted within the community. So, the reason why I'm talking all about this is because I think it's pretty interesting and I want to bring attention to it so people can learn about it and even compete in it. So I'm here to teach you the basics and the ins and outs of Growtopia speedrunning. So, a quick history lesson. The Growtopia Speedrunning forum in speedrun.com was first introduced on the 9th of January 2013, less than 2 months after the release of the game. However, the first speedrun was submitted on the 14th of November 2017, almost 5 years after the forum was created. As mentioned previously, there are 5 main speedrunning categories. All these categories, apart from one, share a few rules where the player is not allowed any items or advantageous effects, and is not allowed to have assistance from other players. Also, that these attempts have to be timed using a live speedrunning timer such as LiveSplit. First is purchasing a log without recycling. So with nothing, no gems, no items. You farm dirt blocks and harvest the seeds in a brand new world until you earn enough gems, without recycling any items obviously. This category is then split into different subcategories for each purchasable log. Apart from the builder log, you can probably tell why. This is arguably the most competitive category with the most submissions. Purchasing a small log without recycling was the category and subcategory with the first ever submission. From there it has had 57 different players and 19 different world record holders in the small log category, the most active of the subcategories across the community. Then it's purchasing a log with recycling. This is the same as the former, but you're allowed to recycle blocks and seed, and far less popular with only 13 different players and 8 different world record holders in the small log category. Then follows the splice category. This is the speedrun category where you try to splice seeds until they reach a certain rarity, rarities ranging from 5 to 20. You basically start with seeds such as dirt and cave background, splicing the seeds into different items and working up until you reach the desired rarity. Then comes my favourite one, obtaining a stack. This is where you try to obtain a stack of blocks or seeds, and it's always dirt. I once shared a world record 3 years ago, but since then it's been beaten by many people. And finally, the grandest of them all, legend items. It's where you start from step 1 all the way to step 20 with the legendary mountain. This is the least popular speedrun category to compete in as it's the most expensive. And it's also the only one where you don't start off with anything. You can prepare your items beforehand, and basically you have access to everything you have. There are only 3 people who participated in this category, all being in different subcategories. Then there are 8 secondary speedrun categories, 7 parkour worlds and 1 other world. These aren't recognized as main speedrun categories but are still moderated and recorded the same way. These include Growtopia, Blarney Worlds, Carnival Games, Grouch, Wolf Worlds, Legendary Mountain, and the World Parkour. There is one more, Geiger Hills. This is not a parkour world but rather to see how quick you can gather 5, 10 or 15 uranium blocks. All of these speedrun categories mainly split into 2 different subcategories with or without mods such as Wings and Air Robinsons. So, in this video, I want to share what a Growtopia speedrun may look like, so I'll be using some clips from the world record holders from the most competitive categories. For me, I defined 2 categories as the most competitive speedrun categories of Growtopia. These are purchasing a small lock and obtaining a stack of blocks. Note, for both analysis of each category, I will be using the world record one, which I do not claim these videos as mine. Geomi, who at the time of recording and writing this script, claimed the purchasing of a small lock record 8 days ago. Meanwhile, the record for obtaining a stack of blocks belongs to Sintec, who also holds 2nd place in the small block category. And yes, I am aware that Sintec took Geomi's record from him a few days ago of posting this, but like, I'm too lazy to edit this 1700 word script and I've already done the analysis of his video, so we're just gonna stick with that. Also, I forgot to mention that these speedrun mods do allow you to have a world lock for these runs, so it allows you to set an entry level minimum so that people don't enter the world. So, first tactical decision made is that he goes to the right side of the world because it's faster to break from the right side to the left side rather than start from the left side and go to the right side. We'll talk more about that later. So here he realizes that he's running out of space, so he goes down 2 levels down instead of 1. This creates a platform for him to plant seeds instead of him having to run all the way to the other side to plant seeds. This saves a bit of time, in my opinion. Here he avoids the rocks. You can probably tell why. From here he starts planting the seeds. If you notice, the amount of seeds he has plus the gems he has equals 51. He did collect an extra seed while clearing around the rock, so he was aiming for around the amount of seeds plus the gems to equal 50, which is the price of a small lock. So while he waits for the first batch of trees to grow, he breaks more blocks to try and get more gems and seeds. This allows him to plant seeds when the first batch of trees are almost finished, so he has a second batch to work on just in case he doesn't earn enough gems, which you find out he doesn't. He plants the seeds that he gets from the trees because, as you can tell, the trees from the second batch will not make up for the amount of gems that he needs. So, he ends up making world record pace and buying a small lock at 3 minutes and 15 seconds. Let's go over some stats. So, throughout the run, he broke 168 dirt blocks and 26 cave backgrounds. He gained 11 gems from blocks alone, meaning that 17.6 blocks had to be broken for him to earn 1 gem. He also harvested 61 trees, and the gems he earned from those trees were 40. So for every 3 trees that he broke, he earned 2 gems. So here are some general tactics. Instead of breaking the layer right below, go one under so that you have a greater space to plant seeds in a smaller area. Avoid the rocks, pretty obvious. And break blocks whilst trees are growing to earn gems and seeds. Like the last speedrun, he also has a world lock and sets a minimum entry level of level 124. From here, he plants the seeds. He's lucky to have 26 seeds from all the blocks that he's broken, but this means that he has to have an average of 8 blocks dropped per tree, which is lucky to say the least. And he knows that himself, so he starts breaking blocks. And due to the limited time he has, he plants the seeds in pairs. And as you can see, this tactic pays off. And like the previous one, let's go over some stats. So, within the run, 92 blocks were broken, and he received 30 seeds from that, meaning that he received roughly 1 seed for every 3.1 blocks broken. From each tree that he harvested, he received 6.93 blocks per tree, where 4 of those blocks were actually from breaking, so I didn't include that in the calculations. And for this run to be possible, he needed to get a seed drop every 1.85 seconds. And yeah, here's some general tactics as usual. You'll need around 30 to 32 seeds, where 26 to 28 is needed in the main batch of seeds. Only 1 layer is required for planting trees, unlike the other speedrun. And break blocks while the main batch of trees are growing and plant the seeds in batches of 2, as you'll get within 10 blocks of a stack from the main batch. So let's talk about a few similarities between the two speedruns. So the main similarity is that they actually break blocks from right to left instead of left to right. This is because it takes on average 8.85 seconds to break 10 blocks from left to right, whilst it takes 6.78 seconds to break 10 blocks from right to left. The other similarity is that they actually break blocks while waiting for the trees to grow for extra security. There are a few speedruns out there which are fully luck based. Mr. Amos is the one who brings light to these speedruns. Mr. Amos' speedruns are the most reliable speedruns out there, and the most interesting in my opinion. Okay, seriously, now onto the actual valid speedruns. These are legendary item speedruns. Within all the main categories, the most interesting by far are the legendary item speedruns. Currently, there are only 3 runs, each being in different subcategories. Storm GT was the first one to do it, by completing the Quest of Fire in 1 hour and 11 minutes, claiming the Legendary Dragon on the 23rd of February 2021. Soon followed Ubimumu 8 days later by completing the Quest of Honor in 1 hour, 17 minutes and 47 seconds, obtaining the Legendary title on the 3rd of March 2021. Finally, Rhyming, with the quickest run out of the 3, completing the Quest of Steel in 56 minutes and 47 seconds, obtaining the Legendary bot on 27th of June 2023. The speedrun category is arguably only for the rich and elite ones in Growtopia. With the prices of the legendary items range from 10 to 80 BGLs, I like to see any rich people do these runs because I sure as hell can't afford that. So right now there's not many aspects of Growtopia that are actively competitive. Many people will agree with that. So that's why I made this video. Personally, I feel like if this video reaches a wide audience, it will open up a underappreciated community and bring some sort of competition to it. And Growtopia as a whole. That's why I'll start a prize pool of like 25 diamond locks, let's say, for the first person who officially takes a world record for purchasing a small lock or getting a stack of blocks. Well, after this video goes live anyway, because if you guys don't know, I said earlier in this video, Sintec recently took a world record while the production of this video was underway. Anyways, thanks for watching.